Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Thomas, and I'm a sales engineer. Today, I'm going to talk about how recruitment and hiring looks like within the Bob platform. And for that, we're going to break down this demo into three different pieces. The first one is how can we streamline the hiring process in the shoes of Peter, who's going to be the head of TNA at Mockley, which is a fake company. Then we're going to see how we can actually build a robust candidate pipeline in the shoes of Peter as well. And finally, the last pillar, it's around how can we make sure we can have unified data across the whole recruitment process and we can capitalize on those elements to take better decisions. And for that, we're going to be in the shoes of Emma, who is going to act as a CPO at Mockley. But let's dive into the streamlined hiring process and how we can achieve those elements thanks to Bob. For that, let's meet Bob hiring. And I'm in the shoes of Peter, where now I can see in a glance some KPIs that are available to me, but also all the open and closed job openings that Mockley is currently working on. Because at the end, we're working with multiple tools for application, for reviews, for scheduling, for communication. Here, we'll be able to centralize all the data into one. But first of all, how do we make sure that we can tailor the recruitment process according to our needs? In the recruitment, and for every job opening, we'll be able to define the steps that both the candidate and the recruitment team needs to go through. We can have some details. So for example, for today, we're going to focus on the senior HRBP based in London. And we can connect that to also position to do our job acquisition linked to our headcount planning. The headcount planning is based on a different module within Bob called workforce planning. And you can see that by being in everything into one platform, we can import the headcount plannings directly into hiring. But for today, that's a different topic, and we're going to really solely focus on the recruitment. When it comes to the pipeline, we'll be able to really draft the pipeline according to our needs. So what does it mean? It means that we can tailor and have a flexible platform to make sure that the right candidate go through the right pipeline according to the right job openings. Because when you think about it, you might have people that are looking for a junior position. They don't need to go maybe for 6 steps. Maybe 3 steps will be enough. Whereas directors or senior leaders might go through 12 steps because it's a more important position within the company. So you can really start tailoring all the hiring pipeline according to your needs. With the hiring pipeline comes the team. We need to ensure that we get this flexible approach and this control over our processes by having a team that can impact it to a certain degree. So every different roles have a specific action that they need to do. For example, the hiring manager might have different views and accessibility on the recruitment and the interviewers that are just coming on one spot. That's the whole principle here. So we can really define the hiring team that is necessary for this job opening and link to that a set of role and permission within the recruitment process. And again, in terms of flexibility, those elements are completely customizable as well. When we talk about the job offer, we say the word flexibility. You heard it a couple of times now. Exactly the same approach. We want to give you the flexibility, not only for setting up the role, but also to set up the approval process. Because at the end, a role in England might have a different approval process than a role in Germany. So we want to give you the control also up to the offer approval. And finally, when it comes to the informations we can ask, we can set a different type of questions and different type of information we want to capture. This can be mandatory or optional. Same goes with document. But again, with this information that's being provided, we can capitalize to actually already filter out the pipeline. How? By having disqualifying questions. Because what we want to avoid is to have candidates that have no chance to be hired. For example, that don't have the right to work in the specific country, in this case here in England. So we want to be able to disqualify these people. Automatically, when a candidate will be able to answer those questions, if they say no, automatically this person will be rejected 5 days after with an email that is already predefined. To make sure that at the end, in your pipeline, you get the right candidate at the right time who have an eligibility to get hired at the end, because that's what we want. And all the ones that are not eligible, automatically disqualified by the system. The system is actually supporting you, making sure that you get the right candidate into your pipeline. So now that we've set up that, how does it look like from a recruiter perspective? Because as Peter, I want to ensure that I have the right tool and the right approach to be able to choose the best candidate according to our needs. But to find the right candidates, what do I need to do first? Schedule interviews. And here you see some interviews that have been already scheduled. And of course, I can also schedule my own as well. So I can put myself and I can put, for example, Alice with me to do the scheduling. The scheduling can happen into two different ways. We are in a digital world, so it can happen, for example, over Zoom with the link being automatically created, but also throughout a location, which could be in this case in England, but it can also be very specific in terms of instruction. This could be as simple as that, London. Then comes the time. Always difficult to actually sync my own calendar with Alice's calendar. Well, now, by using the integration with Google Calendar or Outlook, I will be able to see the two calendars next to another. And if someone has something to do, for example, here we see Saturday and Sunday are not working days, so I can't book times here. But maybe for tomorrow, I can book already a time for us to meet Isabella. And then comes to that as well, the scorecards. We want to make sure that at the end, we can capture and we can score a candidate based on different evaluation grid. But those grids are totally customizable. To make it simple for anyone and any person involved, including me as the TNA manager, to be able to actually schedule interviews and to be able to evaluate this candidate. And I'm going to show you how it looks like in a bit. We can use a template with the email, and I can send out automatically the invitation that is being scheduled for tomorrow. We talk about evaluation. How does it look like? Remember, we want to streamline the hiring process. What does that mean? It means we want to make sure that we can compare apples to apples. And so when everyone is going to answer their survey, you'll be able to assign a different score linked to that. And you see here the score per evaluator. What is their score compared to their question they answered? And you see the average score is now 71. So it means that based on the scorecard that they fill out, we know that the average score is 71. So it's really easy after to compare to, for example, Oliver, which is only 50. We know that for a fact that we can rank candidates, and then Isabella is now positioned as 71 as well, whereas Oliver is positioned 50. So Isabella is actually a better candidate than Oliver. So give us already a quick insight, because now every candidate is being evaluated on the same basis, with the same criteria, with the same scorecard. How does it look like? Here's an example of a scorecard I just filled out, with some questions, emojis, smileys. You can remove them if you would like to, but you can put a score of 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 5. You're in control of what either scorecard should look like. It could be just open text. But at the end, you will be able to see and have a clear understanding about all the different steps and to understand why this person says yes to this candidate. And again, as the owner of this job opening, I can also see the others. Why, for example, Alice says no? I can really look at every questions and look at her comment. Why she said no? Again, giving flexibility and empowering myself, but also the recruitment team to take better decisions and to have a quick understanding in terms of the quality of this candidate. But again, this quality doesn't stop here. We can always discuss with the employee and ask, for example, here, why the score has been so low. So having an internal chat, a contextual chat around Isabella. So it means that at the end, all the discussion we're going to have is going to be logged under Isabella Jones' profile. So when you look at Teams, at Slack, sometimes you ask the possibility to chat with one another regarding a candidate. But often you don't remember what was the candidate about. You don't remember what this candidate has been when this candidate went through. Here, now it's really easy for Alice to say, yes, I remember Isabella, and that's why I put this low score. So you can allow everyone to collaborate together, to have one way of communicating, and to make sure that everything is kept under the same roof, which is the candidate. But for today, we're going to stay positive and make sure that Isabella is receiving an offer. So if I move a bit forward, Isabella now receives an offer. So I can just go here and you can see the offer that is being created. But again, this offer is totally customizable. Here's some fields I can add, but those fields are completely customizable, meaning that you can add as many fields as you want. And you can see at the end, on the offer letter, what are the dynamic fields that's being changed, what the elements that Alice will be able to modify according to the job opening. So now you can empower the recruitment team, including myself as a TNA manager, to actually use a template to actually modify this information according to the job opening without reinventing the wheel all the time, just the details. Again, we're going through the approval process that we set up together. When the approval process has been set up, we'll be able to send out this contract either through a digital signature or through a download possibility. Because if you remember, in Germany, for example, we have this contract that needs to be signed in wet ink and then automatically upload into HiBob. So really, you'll be able to see that there's really a connection between the job offer creation and the possibility to compute this information yourself while capitalizing on the template that you created. But now, if Isabella accepts, of course, automatically we'll be able to add Isabella to a new hire template to the position and then going through the onboarding flow that sits under core HR as well. So again, creating this virtuous cycle between the newly hired employee, which is Isabella, and the onboarding flow as well, that every employee needs to go through before the start of their official day. So you see how simple it is to actually capitalize on those information. And at the end is to be able to going from using multiple tools for application reviews, scheduling and communications, to having a centralized user-friendly platform to simplify interview, streamline offers, and accelerate hiring. But now we come to the question of how do we build this pipeline? How do we get to Isabella? How do we attract her in the first place? Well, coming back to senior position management, we'll be able to actually track all the different job posting that we have done across the internet. So here you see where they're coming from, how many candidates are coming from referrals, how many are coming from, for example, a custom sources such as Indeed? How coming are coming from the career site? How many are coming from the free job boards? 0 in this case. So it will allow you to actually compare one source of hire to another and see which are the most effective one. Because maybe you're going to realize that for the senior HRBP, the most effective way to attract good candidates is through referrals. For another position in another department, it might be, for example, through job boards or career site. You're really in control of where do you want to post it and tracking your efforts. Because we know, especially in the TNA department, sometimes we can have a limited reach. It can be costly. It can be inefficient to manage referral program. Here, we can do that, everything inside Bob into one page. And we can even link that to a cost. How much does it cost to actually sometimes put forward a job opening? What is our return of investment? Is it actually effective for us to do that? The system is also supporting you there. It's giving you the total cost and also helping you analyzing your cost and your investments regarding attracting the right talents at the right time. So with that, we can really break down into that. Let's go into the referral. We want to understand where the referrals are coming from. We see that a lot of referrals are coming from the revenue department. Okay. Now we know the revenue department is the one that is bringing us the most people. So it gives us also incentive to know that for maybe human resources, there's a good candidate that sits in the network of the revenue. But again, we can change this view and say, well, department is not really relevant. We would like to see per site. And now we see that a lot of people from Sweden are referring other friends. Same goes with England and Netherlands. So we can really draft and tailor the view to make sure that we can understand the source of the people, even you capitalizing on internal data for our employees to understand referrals, for example, and where they're coming from, to make sure you're in control of those information. But again, here we're looking at external view, right? When it comes to career page, to referrals, but there's also internal career page, because maybe someone internal will be interested by this position. Well, the same ways as we've seen, we can have also internal job posting, where as a manager, you'll be able to actually decide and draft those information directly here. And then, as an employee, I will be able to automatically apply. And you see here all the details with all the different information where I can apply to. Again, really easy to do, both for the external users and internal users as well, to apply for the same role. And if you look attentively, you see that some, for example, positions are only used for external, no internal referral. Again, you're in control of those elements to build a robust candidate pipeline. So what we've seen that we went from ineffective managerial referral program to limited reach and costly job postings to the increase of quality and quantitative of candidates and a clear ROI data on your recruitment spending. But that's not enough. Let's take a step back. Emma, as a CPO, wants to get data. She wants to get insight out of the recruitment. How can we do that? Well, the same way as we've seen before in Bob, we can have some analytics, companies and teams. Looking at teams, if I really want to understand the data of the recruitment, the efficiency, the job openings, the source, the application, everything can be in here to really understand my recruitment from the beginning to the end. And on top of that, sugar-coated with that, I can look at the preset. I can change the time frame. I can change the filters as well to make sure the view and the visibility I have fits my need. If I'm focusing, for example, on one country, I will be able to use filters. If I want only to look at this current fiscal year, I can do that as well. while making it easy to use, because the data is in one place. It's not scattered across different systems, and it's not fragmented, which always takes me so much time to consolidate. Here, everything is centralized into one place. So very easy for me to get the data across and to capitalize on it, to get insights and to take actions, because I always have data to back me up as well. But if we want to take another step back, we see the team. Now I want to see how does it impact strategy-wise the recruitment. Same. I can have access to the data as well. So it's really to make it as easy as possible to get the data and to take actions upon it. How do I ensure that now I have the right data? By going directly into the dashboards. The same look and feel, the same usability that we have with the analytics in our core platform. But now the informations are tailored for the recruitment. So we'll really help Emma as a CPO to get a bit understanding and a better understanding of the holistic view regarding the recruitment, but you can always go granular, that she can do as well. Understand why this data is so low or so high. Because now, by having everything into one platform, that's really easy to dig into the data. Really understand why this information is equal to this information, because everything sits under one platform. Finally, we'll be able to go from a fragmented data across multiple systems, making it difficult to have a clear picture of the hiring process and financial impact, to having insights that allows to take data-driven decision and optimizing the hiring process and its financial impact. To finishing up, what I would like you to remember of today is to be able that thanks to our hiring module, you will be able to streamline efficiency in the hiring process, to make data-driven insights, and to have enhanced user experience throughout the hiring, making sure that everything sinks into one place to take better decision for the hiring. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and you have any additional question, feel free to reach us.